It's an absolute pleasure to welcome Charlie Austin to the From the Club podcast. Charlie, tell us everything we need to know about you in 60 seconds.
Charlie Austin, very fortunate to do the best job in the world. Started off being a builder, then got the opportunity to come into the football and live the dream and managed to be able to score goals throughout my career. So that's about it. Although, flip side of that, I'm a family man, I'm a dad, I'm a husband, and there's more to me than what people see.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to unpacking all of that, Charlie, over the next few minutes. And what a story and what a career. And it's not even over yet. So just take us back to the beginning where it all started. I understand that as a kid, you were picked
Yeah.
up by Reading. How did that all come about, Charlie?
I played grassroots football for Hungerford under nines, and then I don't really. I think more I look at it now, we must have been invited to go and play against them, like their under nines team. I remember doing okay, and then being offered to go there with two other lads a 6 week trial. We went and done that, and then I was just offered to stay on really, and that was from under nines. I could play under tens football, and then under 11s I had to stop playing grassroots football and play through the academy. But the way the academies are now to what it was back then is completely different.
Yeah, obviously it was a long time ago. Did you keep in touch with any of those boys? Did any of the other boys make it like you did?
No, do you know what? James Henry who went and plays at Oxford. Alex Pearce, who was at Millwall, AFC
Yeah.
Wimbledon, and that was it. But from the time that I left, when I left to 15, but then when the lads joined into that group, like Caracan was in that age
Yeah, yeah.
group, Al Robson Carnu was in that age group as well. Simon Church was that age, so like they had quite a few to go on and make it, which is quite not quite surreal, really, because normally it's only one,
Yeah, that's
two.
right.
Do you
Yeah,
know what I mean? Make it through. I think they had
yeah,
a good handful of them, half a dozen. So
yeah. So what age did you start kicking a ball and when did you realise that you were really good at it, mate?
I started kicking the ball young. Young. If I look at all the photos mum and dad have of me, I've always got a ball. Um, when did I realise I was good? I don't know, 10, 11. But when I say good, I played at the park for hours, but I played with older people and just learned how to play that way. My cousin was 3, 4 years older than me, so I was always playing with his mates. And then I played through the academy and I get to like 14, 15. And so I have that period where I think I'm okay. When I get to 14, 15, I'm like, I can't do this no more. Kids would grow and going through the growth spurt and that. And I was going training and I just wasn't enjoying it playing against West Ham, Millwall, Arsenal. The boys are bigger and stuff like that. And I was only small. I remember coming home saying to me, mum and dad, I said, I don't want to go no more. I don't want to do it. And they was like, right, if you don't want to do it, don't go. Like we was going up and down the M4 from 3 times a week and then got traveling
Yeah.
obviously to play games. A lot for them. They've been doing it since obviously I was under nines. And it just become one of them where I just come straight out of the academy football and just I went and played with my mates on a Sunday. And then and played actually for Kintbury Rangers reserves. And I couldn't even tell you what step they would be in. Like I know the first team play like in step five. We used to play in step five, obviously, when I was there. But at reserves, it was more just proper local football. I was only a kid, but I was just learning how to handle myself, and that was it. And I tried to find the love back into the game, really.
Yeah. Well, after being released by Reading, you decided to go down the non-league route, like you're saying, didn't you? And what did you know, what did you remember about those 3 seasons? Because you did what Charlie Austin does best. You scored
Mm.
plenty of goals, didn't you? Tell us about that time, Charlie.
I was working as a builder with
Yeah.
so I was an odd carrier, and my centre forward partner, the first one at Kintbury, was a guy called Sean Thorpe, and we worked on the same building site together, same firm. No, we just so we was with each other all the time. I started playing, then that was like in the first start of it. I just kept scoring really, and just I don't know. I kind of just played no fear. I had nothing to lose. Monday to Friday, I was a builder. Played football on a Saturday. Went for a couple of pints after. Do you know what I mean? That was it. Then I moved to Hungerford the following year. A bit of a slow start. I just turned 18. It was different. I was just an 18-year-old lad like everybody else. We had some good players there. Played with a guy called Jamie Goslin, who's now over in Canada, I think. He was the best non-league player I played with by a country mile. Yeah, it was just something about him. He was playing, excuse me, he was playing in the Hellenic League, which was step 5 maybe, and he should have been playing in the conference, if not league football. He was that good. And then, so I just floated through that year, but I was just living as an 18-year-old, you know. But my parents moved to Bournemouth, and I didn't want to go. 18-year-olds, which sounds mad, but I didn't want to leave all my mates, and I've worked here. I didn't want to do anything. Got to summer, and I was like, stuff it. Let's just go. Just see what happens. If the worst happens, I can just come back. Got down there. Jason Braidwood, who was the Thatcher manager at the time, told my dad to get in contact with Poole Town, and I did. And just all of a sudden, it just clicked. I had a relationship with a manager, Tom Killick, who was someone that I still speak to this day. I just couldn't miss. I couldn't miss. I wasn't doing nothing different. I mean, I wasn't going out as much as obviously probably was the season before, but I just couldn't miss. Do you know what I mean? I couldn't miss. That was the biggest thing. I couldn't miss. But it was just smile. I was enjoying football. It was a smile on my face. Did I really think what would go on after that? No.
Yeah. Well, you say you couldn't miss. It was at Poole where you scored an incredible 48 goals in 42 games. And this is, obviously going to create lots of attention. And of course, like you mentioned, this was at a time when you was working on a building site, earning a living as well. These are the magical stories that just make football the game that we all love, isn't it? It's so incredible. And then you nearly signed for Eddie Howe at Bournemouth. Tell us about that, Charlie.
Oh, yeah. So as that season was going on, the season previously, I got invited to go there on a week's trial. Went there, done a trial, didn't think nothing of it, didn't hear nothing. But the assistant manager was a guy called Steve Cuss, who was the football and community manager at Bournemouth. Lovely guy, Cussy. Anyway, so it comes to the pre-season for Poole Town the following season, and we played Bournemouth in a friendly. So I had a good game. I think I beat up Jason Pearce, scored a goal, set up another one. Get a phone call from Steve Cuss again the next day saying he wants to take you in on trial. They want to have a good look at you. Listen, I'm in a fortunate position because I work for my dad.
Well, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I was like, Dad, it wasn't like I had to ask like the big boss or anything like that who I work for. I asked my dad, and he was like, you carry on. So I went trained for 6 weeks, and I got really fit. Trained every day in a pre-season in a professional environment under a top-class manager, and you could quickly tell when I'd go train Monday to Friday, then go and play a pre-season game on a Saturday. That's when I could tell I was 3-4 steps ahead of everybody else, because I was training every day at the level I was playing back to Poole Town. Just something was completely different. Didn't play any games through pre-season with Bournemouth. It was all with Poole Town. Then we get to the season starting. So I think we're like just the start of August. I just go off on one again. I would just constantly score and get us through the FA Cup rounds, like in the qualifying and that. Score a load of goals. And it come to the end of I think I had about 13 goals in 10 games at this point. And the fucking earpiece. Sorry, mate. And then it comes to a point where the window's shutting. But I know that I've had a couple of people come and watch now. Like Eastleigh in the conference at the time, they was looking at me, and the sniff at Swindon was coming. And then anyway, I went to see Eddie and said, look, I've been given the opportunity to go and train at Swindon. And he said, Charlie, I won't stand in your way. If you do go there, then obviously the Bournemouth door is closed. But I knew they couldn't sign me because they had a transfer embargo.
Yeah, right.
Right. So I was just like, yeah, that's fine. I'm just going to do it. And do you know what he said? He said, I wish you all the best, and I hope you succeed at whatever you want to do. And I was like, perfect. Left. Went to Swindon for the week. And I always say, Dave, now that if I didn't have that 6 weeks at Bournemouth, I don't think I'd have been able to get the ball rolling straight away at Swindon. I think that was one of the biggest moments in my career. That was, and it was the very start.
Yeah, so incredible. Having spent pre-season with Bournemouth, how hard was it to stay motivated when you had to go back to your day job whilst this was all being worked out?
Oh, do you know what? I was at Bournemouth the whole time, so I didn't work for the old chap. I just done pre-season. That was it. Then I literally, as that Friday shut, that I couldn't. The following Monday, I was straight into to Swindon for the trial, and then after that week, it kind of become like a stalemate for a week. I knew something was going to happen, but was in talks. So I never really went. I never went back.
Right.
I never did. Would have had the motivation to do it again. Do you know what? At that point, I knew I could earn some money playing non-league football, enough money to not go and work, to go and work for the old chap again. You know.
Yeah. Did he make you work your notice, Charlie?
I handed that straight in. That's right. Do you know what? I couldn't have. I've been very fortunate throughout my career that they've been very supportive to me. I've got a very supportive family, but I've also got the strongest woman I know that stands behind me and my wife. So I'm quite fortunate in that.
Yeah, amazing. But it's real Roy Verova stuff, isn't it? And you made your league debut away at Norwich, having come on for the last 20 minutes. You then score your first goal within the first 3 minutes of your first full debut. You must have been pinching yourself, mate.
Oh man! Do you know what? The night before, the game was going to be off. I think maybe half, 3/4 of the pitch was flooded. We're up there now as well. So anyway, we get to Bolton. Sorry, just before that, we get to Bolton, and Danny Wilson opens his book, names a team, says my name. All right, I'm going to play. Get to the hotel, and it was the news was on, and it was showing that the pitch was flooded, but they were trying to get the game on. I was thinking, typical, my first debut, and this game is going to be cancelled. Get to the game. I remember Simon Ferry and Scott Cuthbert was giving me a little bit, trying to ask me if I was nervous and all that kind of stuff. So I was okay. Was I nervous? More excited, I think. I had good nerves, I was excited. Game just started, and it was my first Billy cross the ball in, touch and goal, and that was it really. It was just amazing feeling. However, I think in the first half I looked up at the clock easy 10 times thinking when's half time coming.
Yeah.
I think I come off, after about 51 minutes, I think I was done. But it was just that whole moment, the script was kind of written.
Yeah, amazing. Do you remember how you felt having been parachuted into a full-time game? I mean, the stats would show that you found it easy, but what was that transition like for you, Charlie?
I had nothing to lose, Dave. I had everything to gain and nothing to lose. I'd just be a builder otherwise, or go and work, go and earn decent money playing non-league. So to me, it didn't. I had nothing to lose and everything to gain. So when I went in, didn't really care not who I upset. That I didn't go in there like that. Do you know what I mean? It was more, I'm going in there because I want this contract. I want to do something that's different to my day job. And like I say, I always go back to the point with Bournemouth and Eddie. If I didn't train there for six weeks, it'd have been completely different. I do believe that. But when I went in on trial, I just every time I got the ball, I just wanted to hit the back of the net constantly, and that was it. I think that was one of the things that Danny Wilson, his coaching staff, realised when we was training, that all I wanted to do was score goals.
Yeah. Well, as a fan, seeing your team scores an unreal feeling, but I can only imagine what it must feel like to score. And as a man that's scored plenty, how would you describe that feeling, Charlie? Is it something that sort of wears off once you've scored so many of them,
No,
or is it still the same buzz?
same buzz, and I know it's cliche, whatever, but it's very hard to replicate that. It's very hard. You ask a lot of people that score goals, it's even defenders that don't score, and then they score one, and they're like, "Oh my god, that feeling's incredible." Do you get that all the time when you score? You're like, "Yeah, every time." And it's like it's a drug.
Yeah.
What goes through your body when you score, but it works funny though, Dave, because when you score a consolation goal or something like that, you still get that like bolt of electricity goes through you, but just a little bit less because you can't let your emotions get in front of you.
Yeah, no, of course. Well, what sort of advice would you have, Charlie? Because obviously, as players come towards the end of their career, they're not going to have that feeling anymore. How important is it that an ex-player would end up having something that gives them that same buzz so that they don't end up losing that feeling?
I don't know how you replicate it. That's a question, $1 million question. I ain't got the answer for that. How you replicate that feeling of scoring a goal. All I get is the closest thing is the closest thing I seem to get, Dave, honestly, is when my son plays.
Yeah, wait.
When my son plays, and I know we're all different, and we all handle different scenarios differently, of course. But for me, when my son plays and I watch him play and he scores, I don't get the heights of obviously when it's me, but I get a different side of it. Do you know what I mean? It's more of a proud
Yeah,
feeling, and
of
hopefully
course,
that
mate. No, of
continues
course.
obviously for more as he gets older and plays. But yeah, that's it. I think that's a question where you have to ask a lot of people, and there's a lot of people that's been a longer time retired from me and has a lot better careers than me by far, have not been able to put their finger on the
Yeah,
button to find that answer.
yeah. Talking about emotions, is it hard to come back down after a great performance? You end up sitting there on a Saturday evening replaying the game in your mind, or are you able just to switch off after a game?
Depends, because when we lost Aldershot 7-4 in the FA Cup, that didn't really leave your mind because different side of it. Do you know what I mean? So it's all right, people talking
Yeah,
about the good stuff and you want it and all that. And you've got to ride the disappointment really as well. And it's easy saying forget it, it's gone. But you've been involved in a game that should never have gone the way it did, and the frustrations are still there. You're in a foul mood, and it's hard to leave your job at the door because you put the telly on, it's there.
yeah,
Put social media on, it's there. Do you know what I mean? It's hard to switch off. Or your phone, you get messages from your friends and all that kind of stuff. It's hard to switch off. The positive side of it, however, I've replayed a playoff final over in my mind all the time. When it comes to that time, certain parts of my career going back, when just having little moments when you're reflecting, they're good memories then. They're good
yeah,
memories then.
yeah. Yeah, so good, mate. As far as first seasons goes, yours couldn't have gone much better. 20 goals in a trip to Wembley in the playoffs. The following season was just as good with 17 goals in 27 games. What were some of the highlights for you during that time?
In the first Swindon period,
Yeah,
first goal, obviously Carlo was really important. Uh, the playoff semis at home and away, I scored the header in the first half, and then we obviously won that 2-1. The semi-final second leg was good. It was with penalties, mad game, but obviously we won on penalties down to 10 men. Playoff final for the experience was great, but the final outcome and when I missed it was a bit of a shit. Like in the end, that's just going back. Do you know what I mean? They're hard
yeah,
bits when you've got the positive and negative. That still plays on my mind at times. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
But that's part and parcel of football. The following year, we lost a couple of players. The dressing room kind of changed a little bit. I had my first proper injury where I'd done my shoulder and I was out for 5 weeks. But as much as the team was underperforming, I was still managing to put the ball in the back of the net, And then I felt like it was time, which sounds mad because it was only like 16 months. But that feeling I had when I come back from Bournemouth training to play at Poole Town, and I knew it was time to move on. When it come to around December time, I knew it was time for me to go.
yeah. Well, it's been reported that a number of clubs coming for you during that January transfer window. How
Mm.
aware was you of all that noise? And I know one of those clubs interested war Ipswich Town. Was that a deal that was close as well, Charlie?
I was in the door at Ipswich. I was at Ipswich. So Ipswich agreed. And then, so me and my dad met my agent in Ipswich. I was in the door and they was doing the talking. I was there with Paul Jewell talking with him and my dad. And they said, right, tomorrow morning, you're going to have your medical. So I was like, okay, fine, no problem. As we get in the car, my agent says, Burnley have had a bid accepted and Eddie wants you to sign you. What do you want to do? I said, I want to go and sign for Eddie because that's what I wanted to do. And then instead of staying at Ipswich, we drove up to Manchester, the Worsley Marriott that night. And my agent done the deal in the morning. I'd done the medical in the afternoon and that was it.
Yeah. Amazing. So Eddie Howe obviously kept tabs on you after not being able to sign you out at Bournemouth, and he's obviously gone on to have a really, really good career, Charlie. How would you describe him as a manager?
Top. He was someone that's very to the point. He knows exactly what he wants to do. He's very functional, stat-minded. He wants his team to play in a certain way, and that's it. And you can see that with how well he's done at Newcastle, and you see how well he did at Bournemouth. When he come to Burnley, he needed a new challenge, but under personal circumstances, that he had to go back home. But it was just turning. You could see the group that he was getting at Burnley. So myself was in there, Danny Ings is in there, Kieran Trippier was in there, Ben Mee was in there, Dean Marnie was in there, Lee Grant was in there as a goalie, Michael Duff was bringing the experience, has now gone on to obviously become a Football League manager. You know, he had them all in there. Sam Vokes was in there. We was just on the verge of snowballing. I do think over time something might have happened better under Eddie's term. However, you can't say that because look what happened when Sean Dyche come in. But I think Eddie allowed the footsteps to that to start. Sean Dyche come and put his print on it and took Burnley off.
Yeah, well, you went on to break all sorts of records at Burnley, including becoming the quickest ever player to score 20 goals in a season. Another incredible chapter of your career. Again, what's some of your fondest memories up there, Charlie?
My daughter up there, and all I can say to the people at Burnley was phenomenal. They was phenomenal. Honestly, they turned up at the hospital with flowers and that for my wife. There was honestly, there was amazing people. I love my time at Burnley. I really do. Me and my wife will always speak about it now. The people up there couldn't have helped or been more supportive to us. Do you know what I mean? And I wish them, all of them, all the best. I loved it. I loved my time up there. When I went through that spell where I was scoring a lot and it was just going, it was just what they give me, the belief that they give me as well. It was something that I'll never forget. I loved it there. I remember we played Sheffield Wednesday. I scored a hat trick, but we drew 3-3. I was like, oh my God, what is going on here? And I remember Lee Grant coming in after the game and he was like, if we can't defend, it's not possible for him to score 100 goals in the season, for fuck's sake. And I was like, Grant, it's not my fault. But it just become that bit where it was just when you're a striker and you can't feel like you can't miss. And that was it. And that was where I was at. But I think that became the belief of the whole football club, including the fans and the staff, the management staff, the supporters, people that work there. They give me the belief to just do what I need to do on the pitch.
Yeah, brilliant, mate. Brilliant. I moved back south, followed to QPR, where you enjoy the status of being a proper club legend there. How did that move come about, Charlie?
Well, again, I was going to Nottingham Forest. I was going to Hull, and then I failed the medical at Hull because I've got an issue with my knee. So I couldn't go to there. So anyway, I went back to Burnley. Sean Dyche at this point before kick-off was amazing. Said to me, don't worry about that medical. You come back here and you bust your balls, do pre-season, and what will be, will be. But he said, I'll play you, no problem. He come back and he was phenomenal for me. And he's someone that I hold in top admiration for, you know. Anyway, so I remember going to basically on the way to Nottingham Forest, and QPR rang, said we've matched the deal. They've agreed. This is the finances. This is what we're going to do. Put the phone down. Said to my agent, "We need to turn a car. We're going that way. We're going down to London." And I've gone to QPR, and I've gone to a whole different football club. Stature, London, player. As in the players that were in the building at the time when I come through, they were all playing the Premier League, all the internationals, and the manager speaks for himself, don't he? Yeah. And when Harry Redknapp calls and says he wants you, well, for me at the time, it was not possible to say anything other than yes.
Yeah, well, you play. I mean, as you're talking about all of these different managers you played for the best, didn't you, Charlie? I mean, you played for some proper characters, some proper good managers as well.
Yeah, I've been very fortunate in that front. Yeah.
You finished your first season in the Prem with 18 goals, and we don't have many English players that can do that. This caught the attention of the then England manager Roy Hodgson. What do you remember about that, and how close was you to getting into the team?
Don't really know how close I was getting in the team. All I know is the 2-week experience that I had playing with top people was phenomenal. When I see them day in, day out, as I've seen them for 90 minutes when we play, etc. You know, when I see Wayne Rooney play and the way he trained, I was just like, this guy's phenomenal. Raheem Sterling, you had Ross Barkley there. This is now 2014-15. Ross Barkley was unbelievable. Yeah, it was unbelievable. And to see them players that play for the top 6 day to day was something that was good to see, because although you think you're there. There's so much more to it. There's like levels to football all the way through. Like everyone thinks, oh, he's not very good or he's not very good. You're like, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
These people are top people. These people are top players.
It's unfortunate that you was born in the area that you was, because with your goal scoring record at another time you could have ended up with lots and lots of caps. Was you ever
I could have been all day. I could have been Scottish, Irish, Northern Irish,
I was going to
Welsh.
say that. I was going to say that. Did you
No,
get the family tree out and have a little look?
I think one day my grand was pissed right at racing. Graham Souness was there. I think he might have told him that I was Scottish. Then my agent got a phone call from the Scottish FA to find out if I was Scottish. I think he was just trying to pull a fast one.
I thought you only had to, you qualified by your postman being Scottish, Charlie. Is that not the case then?
I don't know. It didn't work in my case, so I got 0 cats for anyone. But have I enjoyed my time? Of course I have.
Oh, of course, mate, of course. You played in most stadiums in the UK. What was the hardest team to play against, and how much of an impact can the fans have on your game, both positively and negatively?
Anfield. Played at Anfield. Steven Gerrard's last game of Steven Gerrard's last goal for Liverpool was at Anfield. They beat QPR 2-1, maybe 1-0. I'm not sure. They beat us anyway. Stevie missed a penalty. Rob Green saved it down the Cop end. And then 86, 87 minute in swinging corner, I go to front post, Joey Barton just like on the 6-yard box, and he just come through the middle of us, wallop goal. But they were sucking the ball in. Tough place to go, Anfield. Tough place to go.
Yeah. Are you aware of the sort of crowd? Can you hear individual comments? Are they something that can help or have a negative
you can hear
impact on your game?
You can hear. Don't get me wrong. Some of the stuff you can't hear. You're concentrating so much. When there's like a break in play or something like that, or they're getting right after you, you can hear it. But that's where you come in psychological stuff. You just block it all out. But you have to. You've got a job to do, and then you just think, "Oh, no problem. Well, I don't mind anyone giving you any abuse, right? No problem. Just don't get shitty when you get it back." Do you know what I mean? Don't start. If someone cups their ears or shushes them or whatever, just don't start being, you just abused me for 75 minutes. Now that's just my little bit of thing to give it back to
you. Charlie, after your first time at QPR, Southampton then came in for you, which gave you another 70 plus games in the Prem. What were some of your highlights there?
Dave, listen, we're going about debuts, and I've been very fortunate to score on debuts, but I scored my debut at Old Trafford. I'm not really sure, and we won 1-0. Like that was just one of them things. I remember going on for Sadio Mane, which is mad in itself, and we get a free. I get fouled in the corner, but Man United set up like a free kick. Me and Jose Font get together, and I think it's Morgan Snyder and Paddy McNair are there, kind of watching us, and I kind of position myself in the way where if I move one way and then the other, he's going to leave me. And then I went and then just stopped. I was 7-8 yards out on my own, free header, and boom, welcome. So they're like, as you announce yourself to like a team, as much as I think for every player, when they go to a new team, they want to show quickly what they can do. But I think as a striker, you want to get off that big fat duck egg. As soon as you get into that, it doesn't matter how it goes in. Arse, right foot, left foot, knee, head. It don't matter how it goes in. You just want to get off that 0. And I've done it in my debut, and it was just like at Old Trafford, we won the game. Amazing feeling.
How old's your boy, Charlie? You mentioned that
he's 7. He comes 8. He comes 8 this year, but my daughter's seen it all. My daughter's lived it all. She's seen it all. Yeah.
Have you taken the boy through all the YouTube clips?
I have to say him now. Do you know what, man? I used to be good, I used to be good. No, but then he asked me that stuff. Like, did you play against this player? I'm like, yeah. You play against this player? I'm like, yeah. This player, yeah. Then I've got Stevie's shirt in my gym, and he's like, is that his shirt? And I'm like, yes, mate, that's his shirt. And John Terry's shirt, and that one. But they're just like little moments which is mad, because I think at times I think, I wish he was there, like to live through that bit.
Yeah.
But I'm like, absolutely not. Like, he's 7. I love everything. I'm on his journey now, Do you know what I mean? I'm on his journey now.
Of course. I remember the buzz at West Brom when you signed for them, having left Southampton. You then spent 2 years, which included helping them get back into the Premier League. What do you remember about that?
I signed deadline day. went into a squad that I was like, oh my God, this squad just will get back. This will get back with great stride. The experience that was in there, but it was experienced men with young potential players. And again, I was fortunate to score on my debut at Millwall in the Carabao Cup. And then we kind of just went winning. Slav unearthed a guy called Mateus Pereira that become an absolute wonder star for West Brom in the 2 years that he was there. And in the Championship, he was a phenomenal player. I think he got, I don't know if it was 20 assists, 16 goals, or do you know what I mean? Or 20 goals, 16 assists. It was something, do you know what I mean? They were some of them silly things. But the scary thing was, for the whole world, actually, we get to March, don't we? And we are, I think at the time, I think we might be 15 points clear of Brentford in third, and Leeds, it might be 4 points or something like that. But then COVID hit. So obviously everything stopped, didn't it? Which was dreadful for everybody in the whole world. I still believe now that if COVID obviously didn't happen, West Brom we'd have won the league and been away and gone. When it come back now, we have 10 games in stadiums with no fans, no nothing, which it became the first game we played Birmingham at home, which you imagine West Brom Birmingham with stadium full of fans. Very rarely is it a boring 0-0 draw, no tackles. And do you know what? It was one of them where it was more like the last game before the season's coming back in pre-season. No one really wanted to lose. It was a bit strange. It was a strange feeling. Then we went to Brentford, and I think we lost there. We see the gap getting smaller and smaller, but Leeds were winning. Anyway, we stumbled over the line. We drew QPR 2-2 on the last day on a Wednesday night, and Barnsley beat Brentford to stay up, which made us go up. And that was phenomenal, really. That was to get another promotion back to the Premier League. Premier League season comes, starts again slow. I don't really get in as much with Slav at the start. Then they lose a couple of games, and then you need a bit of luck, and you're waiting for your chance, etc. And Howard got an injury, and I was back in and was playing and helping away. We went to Man City and drew, and we was on the bus on the way home, and next minute we're getting inklings that the manager's leaving. Yeah, we've just gone to the Etihad and fucking drew 1-1. We hadn't been beat 6-0 or something. Yeah, manager left, and Big Sam come in. I think I had 4 or 5 games with him. I wanted to play. I think I wanted to move back towards London way, and the QPR rang and asked if I'd go there, and they was in there. It was more of a roll of the dice thing for me, really, because it's a terrible position. He played 22 games, 21 points, and I said, "Okay." I had everything. Like I put my head on the block, because if it didn't work for me, bottom half of the Championship / relegation, I wouldn't got there with third bottom. Or we could do well as on a personal note, and as a club, get them forward. It's win-win for everyone. I said, you boys move clubs, stay here, earn more money, etc., get the success. What's going on with when we hopefully get the fans back in the stadium come the summertime. So went there. I signed me, Stefan Johansson, Geordie DeVries, Sam Field, and we won 15 games out of 21. We missed out on the playoffs by, I think it was 6 points in the end. I think we had 4. I think we ended up with 63 points, and after 21 games, they'd only had 19 points, and by the following 25, we'd obviously had 65. I think we was in the second half of the season. We was like third. I think Norwich and Watford were where it was, but it was just a club that got the best out of people, and I think it just, after there being no fans in the stadium, it was exactly what QPR needed for the fans looking forward, coming back. They'd all watched the iFollow, they'd all watched, seen it everywhere, and was like, can't wait to be back supporting our football club.
Yeah. And like you say, it was a gamble because, mate, you're a proper legend at QPR, and everyone obviously remembers you for there. So, going back somewhere, obviously the expectations of you are huge. What does QPR mean to you as a club, Charlie?
Number one. It's like my club.
Yeah.
Do I support QPR? I think it's more than that. I always look out for them. I want them to do really well. I think Marty's got him right in a good position at the moment. I'm glad he stayed. Much of rumours were going around in the summer that he might depart. I was delighted that he hasn't. Fantastic football club. The people there, the top, the supporters they get, the backbone of that club is really good. I know they've been in a big transition now. New people coming in. That don't change the fact how myself, my wife, and my kids feel about the football club.
Yeah. And having finished up at QPR, you made a decision to go and have a different experience and go and play out in
Yeah,
Australia, joining A-League side Brisbane Roar. How was that for you, mate?
I enjoyed it. Two things. My eldest daughter was here. She's going for her GCSEs. That made it tough. And I probably should have waited one more year. I don't know if I was ready to go yet, but I just wanted a new challenge. And the World Cup happened, right? What I mean by that is football stopped. Yeah, I'm in Australia and lovely and all that. But all I kept thinking back in my mind was, what would it be like back home? Back home.
Yeah.
Back home. Then my wife went home for my eldest daughter's birthday and then come back. Obviously, she'd seen what England's like in November, as you know, Dave. Wet, dark mornings, dark nights, wind, rain, everything. Do you know what I mean? She come back to Australia and was like, oh, nothing changed back there. And I'm sat in the house going, we need to go fucking back. My head's going here, like, we need to go back. And she was obviously tried to put me off, but I said, no, we need to go back. Do I regret the decision? Yeah, I'd say so. Because what Australia gives families is a phenomenal outdoor living experience 24/7. It was an amazing experience. Do I wish I stayed longer? 100%. 100%. The football, you can't compare the football. Everyone come back, oh, what's the A-League like compared to here? Is it League One? Is it League Two? Is it the conference? Like, oh, there's fucking good players in there. But you can't compare it. The reason why you can't compare it to England, Dave, is because the players move to Scotland or they move around Europe, etc. Do you know what I mean? So it's not possible to move. Yes, you might get one or two that was years ago, but very rarely do they move to England. And that's not because they're not good enough. I just think that in their mind, they want to go elsewhere, and not everyone wants to take a punt on an Australian kid, etc.
Yeah. In the outside experience that Australia offers also comes with very big spiders and very poisonous snakes. Wow. Did you come across any of those?
No, right. We had a brown snake in the garden, right? But only its skin. So obviously in the night, it obviously gone through the garden and obviously shed its skin. That was like, fucking hell. Like. And then I remember seeing the huntsman for the first time. Massive big thing, right, in the house. And called the fella. I was like, what do I do these things? Like, if I see another huntsman, what do I do? I get him out of the house or whatever. He's like, yeah, show me a picture of what you got. So I showed him a picture. He said, oh, don't worry about that one. That's the baby one. The mum's in the house somewhere. I was thinking, shit. He said, but what you do is they stay in the house and they kill all the little bugs. They eat all the little bugs in the house. I said, yeah, brilliant. I said, where do they normally go? They're like in dark, cold places. So that was it. Me, the wife, and the kids never went in like the little cinema room that they had in there. we just left that to it. We left that to it. But it was like you said, it was a phenomenal. What no one speaks about, right? About Australia, let me tell you. And you have to go on YouTube to real experience this. Like to see that I'm making up magpies. They have a thing called swooping season. But I think it's like September time, all the way through September.
Right.
No messing about, mate. They come along and they attack you, like to scare you off because they think you're going to like harm their, like it must be like nesting time. Do you know what I
mean? Yeah.
Oh my god, they come right down. Me and my son, so I took him down on his scooter down probably about 500 meters from the house, and this magpie chased us basically back up to our house. When we chased, swoop down, back up, swoop. So I got my son under one arm, pulling his scooter, got his helmet in the other. Every time he's trying to hit this magpie away. Do you know what I mean? But it's mad. You see them all over there with their bike helmets on, and they have like the cable ties all on there. It's you'd have to have a look up on magpie swooping season on there. ugh, not
Mate, it's a
ideal,
miracle
mate.
we all come back in one piece, isn't it?
I know, mate. But do you know what? A miracle come back in one piece. But you give me the opportunity to me and them, we'd be straight back. We'd be straight back there.
Well, I'm going to have a Google of those later on, and I'll have a little look
Mm.
on YouTube. Charlie, footballers who can score goals are always top of any manager's shopping list. You've scored goals consistently wherever you've been. What's next for Charlie Austin?
Good question. I want to play. I want to play. I still have that fire in my belly. I still have that desire to play. I think I've spoke to a lot of people through the summer, and they're telling me to play for as long as possible, because that's the most important thing. You can never get that back. The moment you stop, you can't get that back. And I don't feel like I'm ready to stop in my mind, my body. I feel okay. And I think for me, David, like you said, the moment I'll know when I can't put that size 5 football in the back of the net anymore, then I think I'll know that it's time. So I still want to play. I'm just enjoying the summer at the moment with the kids and keep myself ticking over. But sooner rather than later, I like to be back in.
Yeah. Later on down the line, do you see yourself going down the coaching or the management route?
I've got my badges. Do I enjoy it? Yes. Do I get a buzz from it? I do. But the opportunities are few and far between, especially in the pro game. The opportunities is tough. But do I enjoy it? Yeah, of course I enjoy it. I do the punditry stuff, which I enjoy also. That's good fun. Listen, I don't mind doing that. And I always say, people say, "Oh, you're good at it." I said, "Yeah, but I only say my opinion and I back up what I say with the facts. I don't say anything that's daft. People might think it's daft, but what I'm backing up with is like, well, you can't really question what there is. You can argue with it, of course, but because you see the game differently. We, like I always say to a lot of people, not just football people, but mates also, we get 4 of us in a row and we watch a game of football, we all see the game differently.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And that's no different to doing the punditry stuff. And you just have different. Just sometimes I see these people say certain things, and I'm like, fucking hell, really?
With Charlie, we're going to take a very quick break before coming back to ask Charlie the signature from the club questions. Charlie, as you know, as a business, we're all about official signed memorabilia. So these last few questions are all memorabilia related. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Charlie, have you ever asked anyone for their autograph before?
Yeah, of course. I John Terry's. Well, I was about 12, 13 at the time. Me my best mate's mum and dad had season ticket holders, and they took us up to watch a game. And actually, it was a funny one. There was a photo of me when I played against Chelsea the week before, having a photo with him, a big Chelsea jumper on, and that was it. He was the first person that I kind of really asked for an autograph. Yeah.
Yeah, that's quality. What memorabilia do you own? And if so, what's your favourite piece?
Billy, favourite Steven Gerrard shirt. Signed Steven Gerrard shirt.
And third question, the final question. If you could have anyone's autograph, dead or alive, who would you have and why?
Oh. So I have to stick with sport. I think it'd have to be Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
He's just a sporting icon. Like I have to say, like it's loads of football people that you'd like to meet and autograph, but I see Michael Jordan. You see him as a sporting icon. You hear all the stories that constantly go on around him of how his mentality was to win at all costs. And you think back to how it was then. We had none of this. We had no social media stuff, no phones, Dave, video. It was all him. And how he's exploded the NBA to not to where it is today, but put them on the path to potentially get to where they are today. Do you know what I mean? And for me, he's just someone that it's hard to not think you're the fucking man.
Yeah. Well, Charlie, mate, thank you so much for your time in coming on. Before we let you go, let us know your closing thoughts and also how people can follow you on social media.
But listen, I enjoyed this. Of course, sometimes you have to let your guard down and speak a bit differently to what it is. I think my story's fully out there for the football reasons, but there's a lot to me that people don't really get to see, because I don't let a lot of people see that. Social media wise, so I think I'm on X, which is Twitter now, and Instagram.
Okay.
Don't do the TikTok stuff. I ain't got time for that. But Instagram and Twitter, you can follow me on for a bit of fun.
Well, brilliant. I'm going to make sure that I find all of those links, and they'll be in the description below wherever you're watching this. Charlie, thanks again for your time. I really enjoyed it. I'm going to go and Google those magpies now, mate.
Right, you
Looking
have to.
forward
Yeah,
to
you
that.
make sure just make sure you Google that swooping season magpie Australia. Just trust me.
Thanks so much for your time, Charlie, mate.
No worries,
Top
buddy.
man.